From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Cascade Paint & Supply is Reading's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Well, the storm system, it is a knocking on our door. By tonight, we've got rain. Really, this evening going into tonight, it's going to hit the coast first, eventually working its way eastward throughout the overnight and early morning hours. And then we've got that rain tapering off as we go into the second half of the day. But again, we're still looking at the chance for thunderstorms. We're going to walk you through the timing of all that here in a second. Let's take a look at the headlines first and foremost. We got a big temperature drop tonight and into tomorrow. We're talking about a 20+ degree drop in some cases here. Rain, thunderstorms this weekend with mountain snow, and especially for Saturday, that's the main event, with drier and warmer conditions next week. And could we possibly see our first 90-degree temperatures in the valley this year? We haven't seen 90 degrees yet. We could quite possibly see it near the end of next week. Here's your neighborhood at a glance, and look at all of those lightning strikes. Yes, everyone has a chance for thunderstorms. We've got chances for snow in the mountains. We've got significantly cooler temperatures. There is a lot to talk about this evening. So let's start off with what can you expect here for tonight through Sunday morning. Well, number one, heavy rain at times. We're going to be looking at this main band of rain pushing through. We'll be looking at periods of moderate to heavy rainfall. Not to mention the fact that snow levels will be dropping behind the cold front, eventually dropping down to as low as 3,000 feet and maybe even down to 2,500 feet in some cases. We've also got the potential for thunderstorms, especially going into tomorrow afternoon. And with those thunderstorms, you're talking about the potential for brief periods of heavy rainfall, gusty winds, small hail, lightning, the works, right? And then, of course, the gusty winds overall, mainly with that cold front passing through, but also with those thunderstorms that should develop. So let's walk you through the timing on Futurecast. We take you through tonight. Here's the cold front. By 10 o'clock tonight, that cold front is just beginning to push through the north coast. This is when we start to see the winds pick up there at least. We've got rainfall, which could get heavy, and then you can see maybe in advance of that, around 10 o'clock tonight, maybe a chance for a few light showers. Now, the thing is, the atmosphere is very dry right now, so we've got to saturate the atmosphere first. So there's a chance it may take a while before we actually start to see some of that making its way to the ground. So sometime tonight, we will start to see some of the showers hitting the valley. All right, I'm going to take you all the way through 5 a.m., and you see how this pushes eastward. Now we're seeing snow levels behind this cold front begin to drop. All right, so what you've got here is between 3,000 and 3,500 feet. But taking a look at I-5, it's all in the form of rain. So at this point, I'm not terribly concerned about a lot of chain requirements out there. But you head on to Highway 97, yeah, it looks like you could see some chain requirements there. We take you out to Scott Mountain right here, yeah, maybe some snow there. But on Highway 299 between Reading and Eureka, looks like all in the form of rain. Kind of getting borderline there on Highway 36 west of I-5. Now at this point, we're still not seeing the snow levels dropping because the cold front is just beginning to pass at 5 a.m. So still some heavy rainfall in parts of the eastern mountains. But even at 5 a.m., you're not really seeing a ton of rainfall at this point. So we're seeing between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m., that band of rain pushing through. And again, I'm talking about the periods of moderate to heavy rainfall. Should be some pretty steady rain at that, and maybe even some lightning strikes embedded in there as well. All right, we take you into 10 o'clock. Now the cold front is out of here. It's over Nevada, but we still have that heavy rainfall and snow in the eastern mountains. We're in the back edge of that rain for the valley, so the valley's still seeing some of the showers and still some moderate to heavy rainfall. But behind that, scattered showers and thunderstorms, but also looking at snow in the higher elevations between 3,000 and 3,500 feet. Now we're seeing the potential for those chain requirements through the morning hours as you head east of I-5, especially on those higher mountain passes. On Highway 299, Highway 36, you see how it's just kind of scattered. So we're not going to see a ton of snow at this point, but you still need to check those latest road conditions no matter what, even if you're traveling through the day on Saturday. All right. Here's Saturday at 2 p.m. Now we're looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, the bulk of that steady rainfall is now off to the east, and we're seeing scattered showers. But still, some decent rain off in the eastern mountains, even at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, as I mentioned, for the valley, even making its way along the coast. Still looking at snow levels somewhere around 3,000 feet, 3,500 feet. 6 p.m. tomorrow. There you can see the snow is getting heavy at times as we go into Saturday evening. There you can see, of course, still maybe a chance for a lingering shower or thunderstorm as we go into 6 o'clock Saturday evening. That continues off to the east as well. Now, by the time we get into Saturday night, 11 p.m., still some snow off to the east, still creating some travel delays and problems there. And you see here, Saturday night, 11 p.m., look at this. We could see the potential for some snow on Highway 299. So Saturday night could run into some flurries that could create a few slick spots there as well. So just be aware of that through the day Saturday, even into Saturday night. But look at this, as we go into Sunday morning, it just turns into some isolated flurries, maybe a chance for a few scattered showers along the coast, but you can see it's very insignificant. So the main event, Saturday. Sunday, we don't have much going on at that point. It's just kind of recovery at that point. And a lot of the snow that we see in the mountains will melt through the day on Sunday. All right, let's take a look at the forecast rain totals. And the closer and closer we get to the storm and the more and more forecast model runs we look at, the more it looks like we're going to see a decent amount of rainfall on average here. I mean, we're beginning to see now everyone, at least in the valley, seeing about an inch of rainfall, give or take. You can see to the south a little bit shadowed here for Willows, but even Willows getting close to a half an inch. And even in the higher elevations looking pretty good and still fairly impressive. Probably over 2 inches in many spots for parts of the North Coast. So looking like some good rainfall. In fact, some of the rainfall that we see here for Saturday into Sunday, and really tonight through the day Saturday, will be probably more than what we typically see for the entire month of May. Kind of unusual. Take a look at the winter weather alerts here. So there's a winter weather advisory for Saturday morning for Trinity County, Western Siskiyou, Del Norte, and Humboldt counties. Now, keep in mind, you saw that there could be some snow even as we go into Saturday night, but I think the bulk of the heavier rainfall and snow in these areas will be late tonight and early tomorrow morning. Now, there's also a winter weather advisory for the eastern mountains from 11 a.m. tomorrow until 8 a.m. on Sunday. This is where I think we're going to be running into some problems here with chain requirements, especially over the mountain passes, say above 4,000 feet. So looking at the forecast snow totals, you can see I think we'll see a couple of inches of snow down to as low as about 4,000 feet, give or take. As you start getting into the 3,000, 3,500 foot range, you might be kind of in that borderline where you start seeing that accumulating snow, a bit of a mix. But this is a cold storm system, so it's not out of the question for Bernie and Shingletown to see some accumulating snow. Light amounts, but accumulating snow nonetheless, not to mention Mount Shasta City. But Dunsmuir, it'll be borderline. I think just maybe at best a bit of a mix out towards Weaverville and Hayfork. Wairika, you might see a little bit of a mix there as well. Maybe some light accumulation towards El Turris, and not to mention south into Quincy and Portola as well. So are we going to see a ton of snow in the mountain communities? No, I don't think so. But as you get above 6,000, 7,000 feet, now you're talking upwards of around 10 to 12 inches of snow. Here's the winter storm impacts. It's kind of backing off a little bit here, but this is the main area of concern. And that's normal because this is where we have the higher mountain passes. Also on Cedar Pass here as well. Look at I-5. Yes, we're getting that limited range, so it's not out of the question for some slick spots at times tomorrow on I-5, especially north of Mount Shasta. But Highway 299, for the most part, looks okay, but don't let this fool you. Tomorrow morning, I want you to check the road conditions before heading on Highway 299. Tomorrow night, I want you to do the same because we could see more of those flurries again, so you'll have to watch that very closely if you are traveling tomorrow. And then Sunday, conditions should improve, although still the potential for some leftover chain requirements, especially if we see some of those isolated snow flurries. Now the winds, as the cold front passes tomorrow morning to the valley, you're seeing those gusts possibly over 30, 35 miles per hour. Then Saturday morning, 10 a.m., the cold front pretty much passes to the east, and we're seeing those strong winds in the eastern mountains. Then once the thunderstorms begin to develop, especially in the valley, we could see some more patches of gusty winds throughout Saturday afternoon. And then on Sunday, the winds finally dying down, although still a little breezy in some spots here. Okay, so here's the big picture. We don't need to walk you through the timing, but I just want to show you here what's the progression of the storm. Saturday, then the area of low pressure shifts to the east on Sunday, still some leftover showers. Then a disturbance comes down on Monday. That could bring us a chance for a few showers, especially in the mountains and not to mention the coast as well. But at this point, I'm going to keep the valley dry. Now, with that said, look at the tight isobars that we have here. This is going to basically mean we've got some gusty winds possibly again going into early next week. That could continue into Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. Then we go in towards the middle and latter part of next week. High pressure really begins to settle in, and that's going to mean warmer temperatures. And this is when we have the potential of seeing temperatures upper 80s and quite possibly even into that 90-degree mark. And that could be the first time of the year that we see that. Here are your wave heights going into your Saturday. Yes, they are going to start to increase here with that approaching storm system. So northwest winds at 5 to 10 knots for your Saturday. There is a small craft advisory through this evening into tomorrow morning, and at this point it should be allowed to expire as we go into Saturday afternoon. So for tonight, rain starts on the coast, working its way eastward. I don't think we're going to see rain for the eastern mountains until sometime in the morning hours, but for the valley, we could see rain as early as 10, 11 o'clock tonight, but really starting to pick up more in intensity around midnight and continuing that steady rain through the early morning hours, overnight really. There you can see Trinity County neighborhood forecast for your Saturday. Look at these temperatures. Instead of the 60s and 70s, we're more like the 50s. So we're seeing that drop. Now, as you see on Sunday, Monday, I've got that chance for showers for all of the mountains and not to mention the coast. Sunday is going to be a whole lot of nothing, quite honestly. Monday, I think, is a better chance for some of those showers, but even then, I don't expect it to be a lot. The main event, as I've been mentioning, is going to be Saturday morning. Temperatures are going to be in the low 50s for the southern and central portions of Humboldt County. Del Norte, northern Humboldt, temperatures mainly in the low 50s for both the inland areas and not to mention the coast. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, those temperatures are going to be in the 40s for most of us. Some of the warmer spots like Happy Camp, 54, 50 in Fort Jones, but it is going to be noticeably cooler out there. Taking a look at your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, mainly in the 40s for your daytime highs. Now, I've got snow levels down to as low as 3,000 feet, could at some point in time, especially Saturday night, Sunday morning, drop even lower than that. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, temperatures in the mainly low 50s. Some of the warmer spots, Paradise 54, 55 for Doyle, and there you can see Fall River Mills about 49 degrees. And your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by NorCal Tractor. It's been in the 70s and even 80s. How about the 60s instead? You're going to need that light jacket again, or the heavy coat, depending on what that temperature means to you. 60 degrees out in Redding, 61 degrees for Anderson, 57 for Lakehead, and there you can see out towards Red Bluff, a high of 59 degrees. Here's your 7-day outlook for Redding. There is that thunderstorm activity. Now, again, I just feel like I've been, talking 100 miles a minute, giving all kinds of information on the storm that's approaching for tomorrow. But then you go after tomorrow, things quiet down significantly, and we've got the warming trend. Monday through Friday, a warming trend. We are on Sunday, a high of 63, up to the upper 80s and possibly 90 by next Friday.